want you to know that the U.S. Census Office will be hiring. You can go to www.2010censusjobs.gov, and you can get more information if you like to apply for a job. And they have jobs different in office staff or for field staff. Now we want to greet our guests. And how are you doing on this evening, Reverend Young?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Now, there's a lot of women that are excited, and I know that she's going to allow God to lead her. But what I am going to do, I'm going to ask her a few questions. This is what Reverend Gordon kind of wanted her to answer some of these questions, and then I want her to be able to, you know, kind of minister to the women and tell them the different circumstances and situations that she went through as a woman, that's a reverend, and where she goes to church, and you know, just how she accepted her calling, and how did she know she was calling, what did she do to prepare for her calling, and all of that. But let me get started because we want to hear this. Okay, now tell me how Daughters of Deborah got started.
Daughters of Deborah was started back in 1999. We actually just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year, so that was pretty good. Reverend Gordon was called to preach back in January of 97 and licensed in December of 98. And you know, God just started to put women before her who were struggling with their call, couldn't define it, didn't understand it. And so, you know, she sought God in prayer, and she received a prophetic word to form a group of women in ministry so that they could understand and they could, you know, get through the process. And so that was in August of 1999, and in August of 1999, the group was founded. We had our first meeting in Southfield, Michigan. And then in 2001, God did it, because initially the name of our group was Women in Ministry Fellowship Group. Okay. But in 2001, you know, God came through with new order and gave Reverend Gordon, you know, just more words for the group, you know, and it was just really a blessing, because at that time we established the executive board, the pastoral advisory board, we were incorporated, and then the name was changed to Daughters of Deborah Women in Ministry Fellowship, Inc. So it's been 10 phenomenal years of ministry, and the ministry has really grown. When we first started out, we were all sister so-and-so and such and such, and now we are pastors and prophets and reverends, and I mean, it's not just that we went out and got titles, it's that God grew us up, He confirmed us, He established us, and He gave us the things that we needed, because I think when we came together, the group is 10 years old, I've been with them for 9 years. It was like being out in the wilderness, you know, you were frustrated, you were tired, and you were really devastated by the things that happened, and He has blessed Reverend Gordon with such an atmosphere of peace. When she steps into the room or a situation, she brings a peace with her, and she creates an atmosphere where it's safe to grow. And if you are a woman in ministry and you have encountered any type of difficulty, you know, you don't always have a safe place to grow. You don't always have a place where you're accepted. And so that's what we have right there, because when God says something about you, you start looking for the manifestation of what God said. You start looking for the avenue that He's going to bring that thing to pass. Yes. And so it may not be that, you know, we know God says something today, and then with the time between it comes and manifests, that varies for each person. But when God says something about you, He does start to move you in that direction. He starts to teach you. He starts to confirm things to you. And so that's what's happened. It's a practical place where we have gone. We learn not only how to fellowship with men, but also how to fellowship with women, because we have to learn how to co-labor together and do so with an appreciative attitude and not a competitive one. We have to know that we are called to work together in ministry, that God did not call the body to be divided against itself. And so that is something that we get through Daughters of Deborah. And of course, our founder is Reverend Sandra K. Gordon. She is the assistant to the pastor at Greater New Mount Moriah Church, Missionary Baptist Church here in Detroit, Michigan.